up? Welcome back, everybody. It is that time of the year. Top 25 releases of the year in the Christian scene. We're going to be looking at rock, metal, and everything in between. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you watch this entire video, as there is so many little hidden gems. I think a lot of you are going to be surprised by my picks. I'm not trying to be controversial with them. This was an absolutely insane year in the history of the scene. I think one of the best years, or the best year, since 2013. It's been a decade since we've had a year just truly this packed. I spent so much time narrowing this down to my top 25. Honestly, I've had to rearrange just the stuff within the 25 multiple times. There is at least 10, if not closer to 15 releases that I was like, how do I get this in here? Almost more than honorable mentions. Like, I was trying to get them on this list somehow, and they just had to be knocked off. And then I also have a list of like 30 honorable mentions. So after the video is done, after you've watched the whole thing and you wait for pizza time later on in the video, take a look down there at all the honorable mentions. So sorry to all the bands I couldn't include you in the video itself, but I had to give you a shout out down below. If you're mentioned there, or if you're mentioned in the video at all, like, please know that you guys did well. Like, good job. This was so difficult to narrow it down. But for those of you who have made it into the video, I truly loved your guys' work. And so with that all being said, like, I don't want to make this intro too long, and I don't want to make this video too long. Last year was 51 minutes or something like that. Just as disclaimer, there are bands on this list that don't go by the term Christian band. Some of them might say Christians in a band. Some might just only have a few Christians in the band and not the whole band is Christian. Like, there's so much that we can discuss about that topic, but I definitely try my best. I don't want to like put that label on somebody who doesn't want it, but there are bands on this list that I think just need to be included in the conversation regardless, and I think they deserve their place in this group of artists. As far as how I make my picks, this is primarily based on just my overall enjoyment of the record, but I'm also taking into consideration the production quality, to an extent the lyrics, also the artwork, just the overall package. But the main factor is my own personal enjoyment and what I got out of the record, how much I see myself listening to the record, on and on. It's all subjective. This is my list, so if you don't agree with me, sorry, not sorry. These lists are hard. Everybody's not going to be happy. But also, once I'm done, let me know down below what your top 5 records are. See if you can do it. I don't know. It's very hard. I tried to narrow this list down from over 100 releases, and we ended up with the top 25, but over double that in honorable mentions. So it was so difficult. This was absolutely difficult. So without much further ado, we're gonna hop into this, but hit that subscribe button if you enjoy this video and you're new to the channel. Hit that like button down below as well. Share this video with your friends. Let them know that there is awesome Christian music out there, or awesome music with a message that is hopeful to the world, and that there is hope, that there is a God that loves you. I think this is just a list of massively encouraging music that will help you in your journey with that. Let's kick it off. Man, this one hurts. Earth Groans, with their 5th EP, I believe, called Tongue Tied. We had the pleasure of interviewing Jeremy once again on the podcast earlier this year when Tongue Tied released. Dude absolutely killed it. This one was actually produced alongside Ryan LaTrue, formerly of For Today, currently of Nothing Left, and he has his recording studio. I think this was the first time that Jeremy partnered with somebody to really hone in on the sound, to really hone in on the writing process, where it's not just Jeremy primarily writing it all. And this EP definitely has some, it's that chaotic hardcore, but maybe less chaotic now that it's more honed in, but lots of discordant riffs and just chaotic stuff going on. It is an awesome EP. It's heart pounding like Earth Groans always is, and it kills me to have to put this one down at 25. And that's what I'm trying to say. If you were on this list, job well done. You did an amazing job, because we're starting off with Earth Groans. So yeah. Sinking down, I slowly fall, suffocating complacency. Number 24, we have XDOULOSx, or xDOULOSx, as I like to say, with their new album, Birth Pains. Fellow Rottweiler Records members, this is their debut record with the label. Sick artwork, just simple black with the lamb. It's clean. If you haven't heard this band before, they are kind of like a street punk hardcore type vibe. I don't exactly know how to describe a lot of this stuff at times, but definitely more punky but hardcore. So yeah, lots of great stuff on this record as well. It's super fast, great lyrics, and just what a great label debut from XDOULOSx. Number 23. Man, this is another heavy-hitting band. It's very well known. But Relent with World War Me. Their new EP. Man, this thing hits hard. Some great, catchy songs. They did an absolute sick video for Soldier. Yeah, guys, it's Relent. You know how much I've praised this band in the past. Yeah, I've loved this band since they came on the scene. It's great, super catchy. They've really honed in on their sound. And again, it kills me to put something like this low on the list. And so that, again, I want to reiterate, this is like, the top. Yeah, Relent with World War Me. For your boldness, 'cause I'm a soldier. No fear, no shame, no fear. Get up, 'cause I'm a soldier. Battlefield slaying at the enemy. 22, I will admit, I've only listened to this one a couple times throughout the year. Black metal, not my go-to. This isn't the only one on the list, but little lower than I wanted to put it, because this was a really solid, like some of the best black metal, or unblack metal, however you want to put it, that I've heard. And it's just a super great album and like awesome artwork. It's Within Thy Wounds with their album Ringing the Bell of Gleaming Martyrdom. And once again, super sick artwork. Just the overall sound, and black metal's not normally my thing, and that's mainly due to production. I've talked about this in years past. And I'll just spoil it now, there's 2 black metal bands, this being one, on this list. And the reason they're on this list is because they brought it with the production quality. Made it sound more than just typical super raw, lo-fi, ambient metal. Yeah, definitely check this one out. Definitely one of the better releases in the genre that I've heard in recent years. All right, number 21. Oh, another one that really hurts. my boy Ed Casimir of A Secret Ending with Hexaemeron, the new EP that came out this year. Super sick. Changing the sound once again, really honing in on what he wanted to make with brash metal, which is kind of a more thrashy metal with brass instruments as well. It's a really cool sound. It's quite unique as far as the whole sound of the whole project, and I am really excited to what he does more in the future. And this EP called Hexaemeron, the hex meaning 6, so it's dealing with like the 6 days of creation, and each song goes into what that day entailed, and it's a lot like what he did last year with the album about all the 12 apostles, and going into the history of each one and how they lived their life and how they died. And it was such a cool concept record, and this is kind of concept EP dealing with creation, so definitely check it out. It's a secret ending still, but it's got a new brashy twist. All right, number 20, Magdalene Rose with the Prelude EP. This is Maggie formerly of GFM, her own solo project now with band members from the Rockfest Records family. And congratulations also to Maggie and Blaze from Seventh Day Slumber for getting engaged. That is so awesome to see you two take that step. And what a power couple when it comes to making some sick heavy music. This EP, very similar to, without trying to downplay the sound and the uniqueness of it, so almost think of a female-fronted Memphis Mayfire. The most simple way to describe it, but I think Maggie brings her own elements to this, as well as all the guys making the music for the instrumentals. Lots of heavy breakdowns, lots of screaming. This is definitely heavier than GFM was. Some pretty sick breakdowns. So definitely go check out the Prelude EP by Magdalene Rose.
Embracing the enemy, separate me from your desire, 'cause you make me sick.
I actually have this one here with me, so instead of popping it up right here, I will pop it up right here. This is Testimony of Apocalypse, and their new album, The Offering, came out on Rocks Records, and what a sick death metal record for Christ. Super bold lyrics, lots of creativity, and there's some tracks on here that actually got stuck in my head that later on I was just humming. I'm like, oh, what song is that? Oh yeah, it's Testimony of Apocalypse. Probably actually one of the few death metal records on the list, and definitely stands on its own. I think if you're part of a particular crowd that really likes this genre, as purely as death metal goes, this is probably the best release of 2023. All right, number 18. Another one that is just mind-blowing. August Burns Red with Death Below. Now, I have a lot to say, or not a lot to say about this album, and number 18, you're asking. Well, why they're on this list, it goes back to the intro and the disclaimer about Christian bands. And August Burns Red is not a Christian band anymore. They haven't been for a decade. But I feel like we still can include them in this conversation, especially because of Jake and Matt still being so outspoken about their faith and their context on the lyrics. And their influence over the lyrics and all that. August Burns Red, a decade ago, was my favorite metal band, and for many years I said that. This record wasn't my favorite from them, and that is why this one is a bit lower. Now, I'm not saying this is bad, but essentially bad August Burns Red is still better than most other stuff that we get ever, like in any scene, because these guys really can't do any wrong. The best way to put it with this record, it's not as catchy and memorable as Guardians was. I really liked Guardians because it was a return to their sound, something more reminiscent of Rescue and Restore, which this one's kind of there, but this one's almost a combo of Rescue and Restored mixed with Phantom Anthem. It takes a bit more of that experimental, not necessarily melodic, but less breakdowns. There is a lot of breakdowns in here. It's August Burns Red, but if you kind of blend those two, I think that's kind of where you fall in with Death Below. Now, one of my major gripes with this album, and if you've had the pleasure of talking with me about this band at any point in the last year, I hate the artwork. It doesn't bug me as much as it did when it came out, and I'm a guy that utilizes AI artwork using Midjourney. The thing that bugged me about the cover for this record, and I'm sure none of the guys are actually watching this, but it kind of looks like somebody used version 1 of Midjourney, typed in their general prompt, and that was it. There's so many little annoying flaws in the shapes and the details of this cover art that I'm like astounded that a band as big as August Burns Red went ahead and used this. And I mean, obviously I know it has to be prepared months in advance, for label approval and production and all that stuff, but it doesn't really look like anybody went in and edited the artwork, which almost 99% of the time when you make something with AI, even now, it needs editing. It needs some work on it usually because there's all these little imperfections. I'm super nitpicky when it comes to the artwork, and this I thought was one of the worst covers from a massive band that has always had amazing cover art. And yeah, it's sad, but that is also why this album is so much lower. No, the artwork only plays a little bit into that. It's a great record. It's August Burns Red. It's not my favorite August Burns Red album, so thus I think it kind of deserves to be a little bit lower, but still on this list because it's still amazing. So I know that sounded mostly negative, and I know I kind of went on a rant, but August Burns Red made a great album. Just not their best. All right. I'm sorry about that. Number 17. I'm not trying to be controversial with all this. I'm honestly not. These are my honest thoughts. And if you agree with them, great. If you don't, I'm sorry. Number 17, A Life Aligned, with their debut EP, The Fill. Now, this is a band that has me excited for the future of the Christian metal scene. These guys are coming in, making some metalcore with kind of like synthy layers behind it, a little bit of like a dance vibe at times, something a little more fun, but the lyrics are super serious. And yeah, I just think these guys have such a unique sound. It's refreshing. And this is just kind of like a teaser of hopefully what's to come. I would love to get like a full length from these guys next year or 2 years from now, whenever that is. I know they'll probably keep releasing singles, but definitely go and check out A Life Aligned if you have not. Here's a little snippet. Next up, we have another Rottweiler band, As We Are. Now, this record surprised me. It's called This Isn't the End, It's Only the Beginning, because it's more of an EP, but yeah, just super awesome alt rock, kind of like indie post-hardcore type stuff. Like it's got that element of high quality yet underground rock a lot. I would say this is kind of reminiscent of something that Face Down Records would release on their rock side when you talk about bands like My Epic, Atlas, Dens. This, I think, would fall in that category. I don't know if I would necessarily say it's as good as those bands, but I was super surprised and really love this record. I want to go and check it out more and more. I want to keep listening to it because fully through once, as it wasn't available on streaming till closer to the end of the year. Definitely check this one out. I think it's one of those little hidden gems of the year.
Tear down the wall. Taking this warning. It's all about the fall. We are the virus. We are the...
All right, next up, number 15. Massive band. Ending a 25-year-long career. Project 86 with OMNI Part 1. This is a double record to end the band, or at least enter in a new phase. I don't know. There's a lot of confusion going on here. But OMNI Part 1 came out earlier this year. Great record. It's heavy. Project 86. It's kind of a concept record about like big tech companies and stuff taking over the world and crazy stuff. Absolutely incredible visuals. I see where a lot of that crowd-funded budget went. There's some crazy visuals in those videos. I haven't heard the new single yet, which is the first single off OMNI Part 2, which is coming out mid-January 2024. So we're already almost to the second part. So if you haven't had a chance to hear this, this is like the perfect time. You won't have to wait very long. Part 1, it's a full-length album. It's crazy. It's heavy. Definitely some of the best Project 86 out there.
Transcend through the boundary. Levitate the creature. Sing the epitaph of remnants and let the throne shake. Suspended in the curtain.
Next up, number 14, another massive band, not even cracking the top 10. Red, with their highly anticipated album Rated R. Red coming following their 2020 first independent release called Declaration. They wanted to go with what I thought was kind of a weird sounding title at first, and then I kind of got it, but Rated R. It's solid. It's heavy. It's not an impeccable, like top tier Red record, but lots of good stuff on here. Time will tell which songs become kind of like the classics that everybody talks about and remembers down the road. I'm not too sure yet. I've only actually gone to hear it a couple times, but the first time I wasn't super impressed. Second time it grew on me quite a bit. I think this is one of those records, especially if you're a fan of the band and you've followed them for any number of years, that you just gotta be patient with it. Give it some time, listen to it a couple times, let it grow on you. And yeah, Rated R from Red.
Say what you will, and it's like for the thrill of a kill. You bring the gun and bleed with a knife. The darkest sky is your paradise.
This is time for the other black metal release. Number 13 is Through the Dark Ages from Trebuchet SDG. I haven't really followed this band. I've heard their name over the years, but this was good production black metal. Like some of the best produced black metal I've ever heard. The production levels of like death metal release of a thrashy death metal album, but it's black metal, so it's got the stylings of black metal, but it doesn't sound like it was recorded in a trash can. And no, that is not a shot at Within Thy Wounds, because they did a great job as well. But yeah, this was super solid album. I don't have too much to say about it other than it was really good, and it is one of the best black metal albums I've ever heard. So yeah, check it out. Number 12. This one actually has held up the whole year for me. It's Zahna with her record Stronger Than Death. This was her second full-length album. It was long-awaited. It's a great, heavy album. If you guys dig kind of that hard rock, alt rock, borderline metalcore type sound, this is definitely one of the better releases in recent years. But other than some of the other ones that will still be mentioned on this list, I really enjoyed this album. Some really catchy tunes and great hopeful lyrics. A couple dealing more with a lot more personal stuff and a lot more painful topics, but yeah, this is just a super solid, great, heavy album. Number 11. Disciple. I can't believe I'm putting Disciple outside the top 10. But Skeleton Psalms, this is just another testament to how crazy and difficult this year was to pick. Skeleton Psalms, another highly anticipated record. Disciple put out some amazing tracks. It's heavy. It's heavier than a lot of their recent stuff. And I really enjoyed this record. I only listened to it once or so when it came out for a few months. And then I went back and I was like, oh, you know what? Like, this is actually like really solid. I had a hard time debating between this and Zahna, like where to put these two. I was tempted to flip it. But I think after intentional listening, prepping for this like last month, I've been trying to get this all figured out for well over a month. And when I listened to both these records almost back to back, I just have to give the edge to Disciple. Man, what a record. It's Disciple. I think we all know what to expect, more or less. They sometimes throw in some little twists here and there, but it's Disciple. It's heavy, hard rock, alt metal, break down some screaming moments, but some kind of like slower acoustic tracks and just catchy, worshipful lyrics, all the good stuff. It's all here. It's a Disciple record. Definitely check this one out if you missed it. Just before we get to the top 10, I want to remind you all, hit that subscribe button if you are enjoying this video. If you've found some new bands that you really want to check out, please join. This is all we do on this channel, is share these amazing bands all year long. So come and join the For the Rock family. Thank you all so much for bringing this channel to where it is now. I think hope by the summer of 2024 we'll have hit 5,000 subscribers. So thank you all so much for being here. Help me hit that number. That would be sick. Also, you can join me over on Instagram, where we have a whole other feed of content. Also, more bands that I share. Some that don't get shared here just because how the videos line up. That's more of just like a blog. Like here's what I'm listening to. Go check it out. Also, we have some links in the description that lead to playlists, free compilation albums over on Bandcamp, and just a bunch of crazy stuff. You can also join me over on Patreon, which I recently started. Got to get some more content over there. But thank you to the few of you who have already joined me over there as well. Top 10 time. Okay. Do you want to know who it is? Who's number 10? It's Cultist with Slow Suicide. Face Down Records. Oh my goodness. There's a lot of Face Down records that I put in the top 10. Face Down's my favorite label. I'm not trying to be biased. I think they just genuinely put out the best stuff, especially in the Christian scene. But yeah, we got Cultist with Slow Suicide, their debut full length, more or less. It's heavy, beat down, hardcore, metalcore. Check it out. It's awesome. We had these guys on the Kingdom Core podcast, so you can go and check out that episode on this channel after as well. So a number of these bands that we got to interview this year, and hopefully some of them that we'll get to interview next year. But yeah, definitely go and check out these guys. They're awesome, and definitely something a little bit different in the scene, at least elevated to a higher level, like being on Face Down. So Slow Suicide, go check it out. Number 9, Immortal Construct with their EP Truly Truly. This was a genuine surprise. I've been following these guys on Instagram, I believe, for a couple years now, and they had actually released some singles, but they put those down, and then I think they went back and reworked on the music and worked more on the production and brought it up, because this EP is super, super sick. It's kind of in the vein of like August Burns Red, but maybe with like lyrically almost like For Today. Definitely go and check this one out. I thought this was a pleasant surprise. I thought I was actually going to put this one a little higher than I was, but then again, it was so difficult to choose. I had to do some rearranging, but absolutely stellar work from Immortal Construct. All right, number 8, Lacey Sturm with Kinetic Metanoia. Lacey Sturm's long awaited record, I believe. The other one came out in 2017 since she started doing the solo project. So yeah, this one's long awaited. It's a long album. I think it's like 56 minutes or so. But it's Lacey, vocalist of Flyleaf, and actually vocalist of Flyleaf this year. Flyleaf is back, and I'm praying that they're making more music together. But if you have all missed Flyleaf over the years, and I'm sure you've all heard Lacey's stuff, but if you haven't heard this record, go and check it out. Yeah, it's a wonderful album, and again, it's crazy that I had to put her down to number 8, because I think in some years, if this was like 4 or 5 years ago, this might have been number 1. That's literally a testament to how stacked the remaining bands are. Check this one out. Change my mind, awaken my soul, Number 7, another long-awaited, highly anticipated record. Theocracy is finally back. It's been 7 years since their last album, and they're back with Mosaic. Oh my goodness. Yeah, these guys are top tier power metal. or whatever you want to call it, really. It's so good. Lyrically incredible. Matt's always had some of the best lyrics in the game. But yeah, just some of the concepts that they talk about in the lyrics, the way that it's all written, it's just so well done. And they have another one of those crazy long tracks, kind of like I Am was. Track 10. Can you guess how long it is? You might think, 10 minutes. No. 11 minutes? No. 14 minutes? No. 17 minutes? No. 19 minutes. Their track Red Sea, and it's not like it's one of those end hidden tracks that has a gap in it where it stops for 5 minutes and then they play something else. It's 19 minutes. That is longer than some of the EPs on this list. But that was just track 10. Yeah, I think this is the longest album of the year. 1 hour and 6 minutes. Yeah, it was the longest album of the year. It's one of those albums that you have to sit down and I feel like you have to digest it and pay attention to it. It's not something you can just have on in the background. If you really want to get all that this album has to offer. Yeah, absolutely incredible work. Theocracy, Mosaic, back after 7 years. Well done.
It comes for everyone, for all of us, return to dust.
Number 6 of the metalcore legends, Face Down Records legends. It's War of Ages with Dominion. Rest in peace, Caleb. This was his last recorded work. The young drummer of War of Ages. They put out this record. Yeah, I think this was such a complete, epic piece of work from the band. This is probably one of their best albums overall. And again, only coming in at number 6. This is where I think these top 6 I was trying to they all could borderline be album of the year. It's so hard to decide, but yeah, I think absolutely incredible record. The cover art, absolutely incredible, by Dave Quiggle, legend in the scene, and his work is just always there. We had an interview with these guys when this record dropped. We got to talk to Leroy, and he talked about that process too, waiting months for Dave Quiggle specifically so he could do their artwork. And man, what an amazing piece of art. But then also the music video that they put out, just absolutely stellar, high quality stuff. This is the culmination of so many years, and yeah, I think this is the perfect War of Ages record. It's good. It's War of Ages. It's not breaking the mold, but it's top of what they're doing. So absolutely amazing work. Love Dominion.
You feel your life, bearing the weight of consequence. The scale is now become your demise. Heaven, you cross my famine. Starvation increases, fallen morality.
Alright, number 5. If we were going off just sheer amount of listens and play time that this record had, this is my most listened to album of the year. I have no actual stats to keep track of that, but just the amount that it was in my car, the amount I listened to it ahead of release because I got an early access copy, all this stuff was just, I couldn't put this record away for so long, to the point, I wouldn't say I'm sick of it. I'm not sick of it at all, but yeah, it's Fallstar. Sacred Mirrors. It's Fallstar. You all know what I'm going to say about this band. Sunbreather was Fallstar finding and solidifying their sound. This one is the same record, but taken up a notch and done even better. It's funny because I thought when they were saying that initially before the album came out, I'm like, oh, how can you beat Sunbreather? Sunbreather's amazing. And then, yeah, having listened to this album so much at the early beginning of the year, I went back just recently and listened to Sunbreather. And that album is great. But I'm like, wow, Sacred Mirrors is actually amazing. So, yeah, for so long, I wanted to give this album of the year. But I can't for a few reasons. Sorry, Chris, but if you've seen this band live anytime recently, they're definitely on the fringe edge of what would be considered a Christian band. And I don't want to discredit anything that this band has done, but it's definitely, I feel like, one that you need a lot of maturity to really take in this band at times. Also, this is the only record, to my knowledge, on this entire list that has any sort of bad word. It's kind of slipped in and hidden. It's the B one if you're really wanting to know. So, generally speaking, I don't endorse any sort of music that has generalized expletives in it, but I think this one was done in a more tasteful manner than most, and I usually draw a hard line at F-bombs. So that's just, I know my audience, I know you guys are picky on a lot of this stuff, and I'm that way. That's been my conviction for many, 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 many years. I don't like that stuff in my music. I don't like it in general, but obviously we're around stuff at work. We watch movies, play video games, whatever. I find my music, I hold to a slightly higher standard. So, you know, Fallstar has always kind of snuck that stuff in a little bit. And, but yeah, this record is something special. It's so complete. It's so unique. It's different. It's probably the most unique thing on this entire list, I would say, as far as the variety that you're going to get, yet consistency. It's all there. Sacred Mirrors is a really great special record, and I heard that Chris said that they already have the next album, like, essentially all written. It's not recorded, but like that one's like almost ready to go. So, and I think it's supposed to come out in 2024. So yeah, I'm glad that this band is back on all cylinders. There was a number of years where it was kind of quiet, but yeah, give me more Fallstar. I love Fallstar. All right, number 4. This was probably one of the last releases of the year. Reformed with their debut EP, Thus Saith the Lord. I gotta say, absolute honor to work with the band and Victor specifically to make the artwork. And yeah, just, I'm stunned by how amazing this EP is. This is not spoiler alert, but it's my EP of the year. This is the highest ranked EP at number 4. Yeah, absolutely incredible work. The lyrical content is insane. This is one of the most bold bands lyrically that we've ever had in the scene, let alone in the last number of years. Yeah, this is a special EP, even though they didn't even intend it to really be an EP. It was kind of a last-minute decision. But I'm really glad that they put it together, because I don't like it when bands have a bunch of singles. I'm still a guy that I like having that complete, the complete package. It's all there. I would love one day to have a physical copy of this, or if they put these on like a full length. Maybe they do another EP next year and they make it a full length and put it out. And that would be sweet. I know bands are getting away from doing CDs and stuff, unfortunately, but absolutely incredible work to this whole band. The fact that they're international, they're all over North America, to do this all online, to make such a collaborative record that just sounds as good as this does. It's amazing. Great work. Congratulations, Reformed, on For the Rock EP of the year. And just absolutely well done. I wish I could give this album of the year.
What did Christ die for? For you to keep living in sin. All of these violent passions will strike you dead. For all I said, you will have.
Another face down band. American Arson with Sand and Cinder, Tide and Timber. The boys are back with their second full length on Face Down Records. We had the pleasure of interviewing this band in November. Yeah, this record is so good. Now, these top three were like, any one of these could have been album of the year for sure. And it's like such a hard decision, but these guys make absolutely incredible music. It's catchy, it's memorable, it's unique. There's no other band that sounds like them, to my knowledge anyways, especially in our scene. But to be a duo and to just make this like awesome hard rock punky kind of stuff with the lyrics that you do, how it ties into the visuals, how it ties into the word, like everything about this is so good. It's top notch. Face Down has a knack for making amazing rock bands, or taking amazing rock bands and giving them a platform. Yeah, absolutely well done. American Arson, number 3. Go check it out. Also, without going into any details, Evan, dude, hope you feel better. Hopefully you recover. Pray for Evan. And yeah, congratulations on number 3.
Thy kingdom come in all its glory. Fill up my lungs to tell your story now. Kingdom come, what's a whisper?
Number 2, HolyName. I know, okay, you've all been waiting for it. Some of you can probably guess then what my number 1 is, but don't get too ahead of yourselves. HolyName had an absolutely amazing year. Tommy Green coming back since the end of Sleeping Giant, doing this with Joe Holt. Heavy, drony, violent worship, as they called it initially, early on, but yeah, this is a record that's going to stand the test of time. I think it's going to be one of those records that we look back on the year 2023. I know a lot of you gave this your album of the year. I know some of you are going to disagree with me for putting it in my number 2. It was a really, really hard decision, but I think along with their self-titled debut record, they also released Initiation Alive in Chicago, which is the best live recording I've ever heard, and probably one of the best I've ever seen, borderline up there. These guys put together an absolutely amazing live version of the album. They left out a couple songs, but just the combo of the 2 releases this year, insane, so well done. And yeah, definitely a highlight of the year. And I think when people look back at years past, there's usually a couple albums that stand out. This is definitely going to be one of those ones that are permanently a highlight in this scene. So thank you to all the bands so far, but thank you, Tommy and Joe, for putting this record together. It's been a blessing. It's so good. Congratulations, Face Down, for having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 albums in my top 10. I think that's everything they released this year. So yeah, absolutely incredible work. HolyName, something special for sure. before we go to number 1, it's pizza time. If you have watched this entire video so far without skipping through it, let me know down below and type pizza or leave a pizza emoji. I love seeing this. It's funny, I'm getting pizza emojis from my 2021 videos, my 2020 video. Yeah, this is tradition. I love pizza. Not less so, but I've had less pizza, I think, this year than normal because I got diagnosed with celiac earlier this year, so I have to go gluten-free, so now I have cauliflower crust pizza. It's still good, but unfortunately Costco's the only place that makes it affordable. Anyways, type pizza down below if you've watched the video this whole way through. And once again, also with that pizza comment, if you haven't already, let me know down below what your top 5 records of the year were. And if you are new here, please hit that like button down below and hit that subscribe button. It'd be so awesome to have you as part of the For the Rock family. All right, it is time. Number 1. You already know who it is. It's Cliffside with Deeper Water. I tried so hard to not be biased. These are, and I can't believe I even missed a show from them. These are my local boys in the scene from Kelowna, British Columbia. Probably the closest bands to me, other than maybe some bands that are in Seattle. But to be Canadian, to be British Columbian, coming out of Kelowna, where we've had amazing bands past like Cry of the Afflicted and Secret and Whisper. Cliffside with a Deeper Water. This album was so highly anticipated. These guys came onto the scene, I think, in 2019 with their first EP. Oh my goodness. They know how to write an album. HolyName had incredible artwork. But Cliffside, their cover art went a whole nother level. Both these records are incredible. One's white and one's black. It's kind of cool to see them side by side. But the quality put into the visual aspect of Cliffside, and then mixed with how just full this record is, like writing-wise, but then also it's long, it's full, it's like, it's got the beauty from the clean vocals mixed in there, but then also all the screamies, and I just think that this is going to be that record that we look back on and be like, 2023 was amazing. It's this and HolyName. Like, I wish I could just say they tied for first. I should just break the rules and say they tied for first, but it was really tough to really decide on which one to give my album of the year. But Cliffside, I think, again, wasn't trying to be biased, but I had to. I just had to give them album of the year. It's so good. Deeper Water. It's a truly special record, and I hope that you all enjoy it. And I hope that looking back at this list of 25 amazing releases this year of all genres, that you're able to find some new bands. Maybe go give a band a shot that you just counted out or didn't like. It's been one crazy year. Thank you all so much for each of you who have followed and watched this channel, who interact, talking in the comments. I know I don't reply to everybody, but I try to be engaged in there. You guys have all shown so much love. Yeah, just thank you for being part of this and allowing me to fulfill this purpose online that I feel called to do. And thank you to all these bands, these 25 amazing bands that I've talked about, and then all the other ones that are now in the description that you can go look after this video's done. Thank you all for the amazing music that encourages me throughout the year and for years to come. the sheer amount of man hours taken to make everything that's in this video, like even just all these snippets, like, possible, is just unfathomable. So, and all the countless people that made all these records possible, from the musicians to the people who did all the cover art, to the labels, to the distribution, like everything. If you take every minute detail, all the sound engineers, just insane. And I think it's really cool to be able to look back at a whole year like this. And I'll probably be watching this 20 years from now, hopefully, if YouTube's still around, to be reminded of all this incredible music that's out there. And yeah, it's special. There's so much good stuff out there, and I really hope you all go give it all a chance. So thank you all so much for watching. It's been an absolutely insanely long video yet again. I have to edit this down a little bit, over an hour, but go and check it out. Thank you all so much for an amazing year. I hope to have some other stuff coming up very soon. And until then, we will see you in 2024. Peace and God bless.